What's up, Woke fam? It's Kira, one half of Woke Remnant Gardening, and today we're going to do our very first mini garden tour. As you can see, we have lots of different plants in our garden this year. We said we weren't going to expand from last year, but we did, and we are happy that we did. So we have lots of different plants here, and there's my mom. She's doing some garden chores. Don't mind her. But we want to do some other mini garden tours with all of the plants that we have. We think all of our plants deserve to get some shine, but we're going to divide them into sections. So they're all going to have their different mini garden tours. But today, we're going to focus on this area called the plot. This area is designated the plot. And for the past several seasons, we've been using this area for two different crops: corn in the back, and right here in the front, sweet potatoes. This year, we've also added a different section, which you could probably tell, I don't know if you can or not, asparagus. We'll get to that later on. For now, we'll start with the corn. So this corn is called honey and cream corn. This is different from the variety that we grew last year, which was peaches and cream. And miraculously, peaches and cream still somehow showed up in our garden anyway this year, but I will show y'all that soon. But to give a little bit of detail about the honey and cream corn, it's supposed to produce 7-inch long corn cobs with about 12 rows of kernels. And the kernels are supposed to be white and yellow. And they say that it cans and freezes very, very well, which we want to have that because we really want to do better with preserving our stuff, whether it's vacuum sealing, freezing, canning, what have you. We want to do better at doing that. It's also said to be disease resistant against common rust and northern leaf blight, which we didn't have those problems last year, but you know, it's always good to prevent those things as much as possible. So hopefully these things don't get diseased. They look pretty good right now in terms of their leaves and their health. But we didn't get those problems last year with the rust and leaf blight or any other diseases. We also didn't get a lot of pest pressure. Now, I will say that we did get a lot of ants on it, but those ants are everywhere. It's almost a given, to be honest. So these are said to produce, or not to produce, but mature in about 84 days. And they're native to the Americas. They prefer full sun, of course. That's pretty much for every corn variety. They're said to be frost sensitive. Pretty sure that's for every kind of corn. You need warmth in order to grow corn to their capacity, fullest capacity, and grow good cobs of corn. So their growing zones are said to be between zones 3 and 9. But hey, if you want to experiment and let us know how it does for you, by all means, be my guest. All right. Now, it's said that these are supposed to produce about 7.5 feet tall, but y'all, I am 5'6". Does this corn look 7 feet tall to y'all? Not to me. So I don't know what they're talking about. This corn has already started to tassel, and I've started to get their the silks on the corn cobs that are going to form. Not too sure if they'll get much taller. They actually look taller than a few days ago, so I'm a little hopeful, but it's not as tall as I expected them to be, and especially in comparison to the corn last year, which is right over here. Now, this is what I was talking to y'all about earlier. This corn is volunteer corn. Now, I don't know about any of y'all, but I've never heard of a volunteer corn before. So we got 5 stalks of volunteer corn, which is really crazy to me. So my suspicion is that last year, now I neglected the corn a little bit last year when we were done harvesting. Apparently there are a few stalks that did have additional ears of corn on them. They dried out, toppled over. Once the stalks were done producing, pushed them over, and I wanted them to compost and decompose a little bit into the soil. Apparently there were some ears on there that dried and I guess fell into the ground and gave us these stalks right here. So this is the peaches and cream variety that we had last year, which is really good. We did freeze some of it and vacuum sealed it. And my grandmother, who is letting us graciously use her yard for our garden, she used a lot of that peaches and cream corn for her cream corn that she made, which is really delicious. And I just really did not expect them to come up this year. I'm grateful, but I'm still confused. Got me stuttering over here, got me confused. I just don't know. I didn't expect that to happen, but I'm excited, and I'm not really concerned that it will cross-pollinate because the honey and cream corn has already started to pollinate the silks on the corn cobs, and the peaches and cream corn over to the side is a few feet away, so it is kind of close enough for it to pollinate each other, but they haven't really produced their own tassels and started to pollinate the silks on their cobs. They actually haven't even formed the cobs yet. One thing I will say about these two different varieties right here, this is the honey and cream, and this the peaches and cream from last year. The peaches and cream stalks are much thicker than the honey and cream corn, and I'll show y'all. These stalks are nice and chunky. These stalks are really good and chunky, and actually this is producing another branch, which is nice, but these are much thicker than those over there, and I'll show y'all a little close-up of the honey and cream. I'm not too sure if, well, actually I was gonna say I'm not too sure if it has to do with the spacing, but those are really close together, so I don't think it has much to do with the spacing more than the variety. I assume the varieties are kind of close based on their names. Now this honey and cream corn is pretty thick. It got some size on it. It got some nice size on it. Nice and thick, and it's actually producing another stalk right there with its own tassels. It has 2 ears of corn on it, which is really good. And these are kind of a little on the skinny side, a little thin, but we don't discriminate with our corn, so we're still hoping for some good ears on them. They've just started producing their ears, their cobs, a few days ago with their silks, and the tassels about a week ago. And we have some corn in here that is smaller. I guess they haven't gotten enough sun yet. They're still growing, they're still getting taller. Hopefully their growth doesn't get stunted in the middle of all these taller pieces of corn, stalks of corn, but we should definitely get some good ears of corn. Now I'm really hoping that these tassels here, which holds the pollen, pollinates all these silks on the corn, really hoping that it gets to the nitty-gritty in between all those silks, because I did not hand pollinate. I put them close enough together. I put them about 6 inches together, which some people want it further apart, some closer. I really did them a little closer, actually. Between 4 to 6 inches apart is what I planted them. A couple didn't come up, but again, we got those volunteer corn over there that is taking control, so I'm not too shabby, not too mad about that. But these did topple over some days ago because in our city we have very high winds with our storms, and they almost gave up. It seemed like they're still kicking, they're still doing really good. They did have a little calamity, so I put this little fence, or kind of like a wooden trellis here, to kind of hold them up and push them back. And I put one on the other side as well, because a lot of them lean back towards the fence. So they're doing fine right now. And I actually forgot about the amaranth. Now don't talk about me, y'all. I planted this amaranth. I'm really the only one who knows what this plant is, and the only one who wanted this plant. And I got it. Look how many plants there are. I know it's ridiculous. Now, y'all, I know it's ridiculous, but you don't have to talk about me out loud or in your head. Please keep it to yourself. This amaranth. Now, don't talk about the leaves. I know what the leaves look like. it got a lot of holes in it, and I really have yet to catch the bugs that are doing it to the leaves. And I suspect that, based on some research, that it may be flea beetles, which we've had issues with last year when it came to our eggplant. But I'm still gonna let them grow up. I should probably get rid of some of those stalks there because they don't have too much room to branch out as they should and get as big as they could get. So I'm gonna take some of those, remove some of those spindly or thinner and smaller amaranth stalks. I'm gonna pull those up, and I may see if I can move them somewhere else. But amaranth is really great medicinally. A lot of different cultures use the leaves to eat them, and if you leave them long enough, I believe it's definitely over 100 days, probably closer to 180 days, where you will actually get the grains, which some people use that for porridge. Now, I've never had porridge in my life. I would assume it's a little similar to oatmeal. I don't think it's similar to grits. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. But I assume it's similar to oatmeal, maybe a little thinner. I'm not a fan of thin oatmeal, so I'm not too sure about it. But the leaves look they got a lot of holes in them, but they could still be used for some cooking, some eating, medicinal purposes. And I'm still excited for them. I want them to grow up, and I want to use the grains for some stuff. Now, I forgot to mention the dates and similar dates when I planted the corn and amaranth. So the corn was planted on April 14th, and the amaranth, which the variety is garnet or garnet, however you choose to pronounce it. I don't know, I'm still learning. And that was planted a few days or a couple weeks after I planted the corn. And I planted the corn, by the way, about 1 inch deep. And I hope to have some visuals in here to kind of showcase how deep I planted that. But with the garnet amaranth, the medicinal benefits, it's said to help with lowering cholesterol, help with weight loss, gout, easing your digestion, activating digestion, metabolism, helping your metabolism, has lots of antioxidants and many other medicinal benefits that I would really encourage you all to look into. Same for corn and really any other plant that you choose to grow, because I definitely gonna look into all these things, look into this garnet amaranth, and see what else it can do for us. Now we're on to the sweet potatoes. My mom in the background doing her thing. Anyway, we're gonna talk about these sweet potatoes right here. So here are our sweet potatoes this year, and they're growing really, really good. I planted these slips on May 2nd, and today is it June 8th? June 8th. Whew, I have a hard time looking at the calendar sometimes. But these are Beauregard sweet potatoes. They are vining really, really well, and I was actually not too sure how well they would bounce back. And when I say bounce back, I mean when I planted these, they were very much sticks. And when I say sticks, I mean sticks. They didn't have big leaves like they did the previous year. The previous year we got them from online. We bought them online as slips from Urban Farmer, and 25 slips, which I divided up into 30. So we got 30 slips, and I planted them all. We got really great, really big, delicious Beauregard sweet potatoes. And we actually used those sweet potatoes that we grew from last year to get these sweet potato slips this year. This year, instead of growing 30 sweet potatoes, we're growing around, well, so far we got about 40 in here. Had 44 originally, but my mom, Mother Dearest, right there, Mother Dearest, she chopped up, pretty much karate chopped up about 2 to 4 of those sweet potato slips early on in their journey. So they're gone with the dust, gone with the wind somewhere. because this area had lots and lots of weeds, and I actually had to weed some today, get rid of some of these weeds. And she got rid of some of them and she chopped some. She chopped some of them up. So we have a few empty spaces. Like in this area, I got to get rid of some more weeds, but over there is an empty space where 1 or 2 sweet potatoes used to be. They're long gone. That's me crying. But instead of those, we're gonna plant these Georgia Jet sweet potatoes. So these sweet potatoes, we've never had Georgia Jet. Actually, last year was our very first time growing sweet potatoes anyway. And the Beauregard, definitely probably gonna be a staple in our garden for a good while. They were really trustworthy, really delicious. But we're gonna grow these as well, and I'm gonna put these in those empty spaces that we have. So with these sweet potatoes this year, I planted them on May 2nd, and I'm not sure the exact date we planted them last year, sometime in May for sure. Last year we harvested them on October 1st, which was about 4.5 to 5 months later, and we got some gigantic, huge, but delicious sweet potatoes. Really good. Lots of sweet potatoes, over 100 sweet potatoes, which we're very proud of, and we're hoping to get more of those kinds of sweet potatoes this year. But it's around the same dates, and it's expected for Beauregard sweet potatoes, I think really most sweet potatoes, that you harvest between 90 and 120 days after you plant the slips. We harvested last year a little after that, and that's probably why some of them were so enormous. But we were not complaining because they were still really good. But you do generally harvest them 90 to 100 days after you plant the slips, and we expect to harvest them around the same date as last year, which was the 1st of October. So September, October, we are probably gonna expect to harvest those. With sweet potato slips, they can quickly get out of control. Last year we planted a lot and they really got out of control, so I had to clip some of these tips off to contain the sweet potatoes within our plot, the given area in our plot. With sweet potatoes, as they continue to vine, they will put out roots wherever they touch the soil. And here's an example right here. So this is where I originally planted it, the slip, and here's part of the vine. This slip is going off, y'all, in every direction. There's one, it rooted down here on the vine, and this is where it's originally planted. So it's rooted here, it's rooted here, and you can probably see the root right there, rooted down there as well, and it has some more vines everywhere. So these slips are really going off, and it's still early. So I definitely have to keep this area under control, because if it's anything worse than last year, OMG, my mom's really gonna get on me this year. But we are not only going to be harvesting these sweet potatoes, I'm really hoping to use these leaves and vines for some medicinal purposes. The leaves and vines are eaten in many different cultures, and it's said they have a lot of medicinal benefits. It's great for diabetic patients in preventing diabetes. It's an anticoagulant, which means that it acts as a blood thinner. It has lots of vitamin K, which is great for reducing inflammation, and it has just a lot of different medicinal benefits that I don't want to go to waste. Last year we let them kind of go to waste, or we threw them in a compost really. This year I would love to use them, eat them, cook them down, maybe see if they can be eaten fresh in salads and all those different things, and try to use the whole plant rather than let some things go to waste. So I'm excited to see what these leaves taste like. Now we're going to talk about these asparagus ferns now. We got ferns, y'all. We got asparagus spears. This is our very first time growing asparagus, and we can't be more excited. We have about 30 different asparagus ferns, or also called asparagus spears. And we put some hay down. This has some weeds in there. We got to take some of those weeds out. But every time we take the weeds out, they grow right back. I'm sure some of y'all know exactly what we're talking about. So we have 30 asparagus ferns, about 30, and 3 different types of varieties. So in this first 2 rows, these first, I believe 2 or 3 rows, we have purple passion asparagus. In the middle, we have Jersey Giant, and in the back, Mary Washington, the good old Mary. So the purple passion asparagus. And there's a little tiny one right here growing right there. Beautiful asparagus, as the name suggests, is purple. And when you cook it down, it's said to have, turn back green like any other asparagus. It is a male variety, just like the Jersey Giant. And in terms of taste, it's said to taste kind of sweet. It's great for eating fresh. Lots of people like to eat those purple passion asparagus fresh. Very tender. In a video we watched, is very crunchy. It just really is a very delicious variety, as many others have said. It's said to have about 20% more natural sugar than other green varieties. So, and in a nutty flavor. So we're excited to see what this purple passion does. And looks like it's already starting to fern out, and some more. There's another one coming up too. So we expect by next year that we'll be able to harvest some of our asparagus. Now on to our Jersey Giant. This is also a male variety. It's not so giant right now, honestly, which is expected. But it's a male variety, just like the purple passion, and it's said to be or get 20 to 30% more spears than good old Mary over there in the back. And really, it's generally said that male varieties get more or higher yields, and also a larger diameter of their spears. And when I researched this, it said that you get higher yields of the male varieties like purple passion and Jersey Giant because the female varieties like Mary Washington produce seeds or seedlings, which takes more energy to produce. So it may not produce as much as quickly as the male varieties, but I did see that for some people with the female varieties, since they produce seedlings, it can quickly overcrowd your bed. But honestly, not too mad about that right now, because I do enjoy asparagus. We enjoy asparagus. I for sure like asparagus, so definitely would love to get more asparagus than we originally planted. And we planted these as crowns. I meant to say that. We planted the crowns, and we dug like trenches in there and put the crowns in them, and they came up about 2 weeks later, I'd say between 2 to 6 weeks later, and they ferned out. Some of them came up quicker than others. Some came up a little late, and as you saw earlier, some of them are starting to come up now. So we're really excited for this, y'all. Now on to good old Mary in the back. We put Mary Washington in the back, and she is going off. Look at that really tall asparagus spear, and it's really thin. It's really thin, which is really expected. I'm not hating on it, y'all. I'm not hating on the asparagus. Let me put my hand here. I'm not hating on it, okay? I am so excited for this. This is so beautiful seeing this come up, and I don't know how many times I can say it, so I'm just not gonna say that. But we got Mary Washington in the back. Mary Washington, by the name, she's a female. Mary Washington is an all-female variety. And again, similar to what I said before, it's said that the female varieties produce lower yields, and thinner asparagus spears than the male varieties like the Purple Passion and Jersey Giant. But she can produce some seedlings which can grow more throughout your asparagus patch if you have one. Now, if you don't have an area like this, please don't get discouraged. You can grow asparagus in a raised bed. I'm sure you can probably grow it in a container. We've grown sweet potatoes in containers before and they did really great. So don't limit yourself to, oh, I don't have a large garden or anything, I don't have a plot. This plot, y'all, we probably wouldn't have even had this area. My grandparents had a shed in this area and it got taken away, thankfully, and this area was already carved out for us. All I did was I amended the soil. I meant to say that this soil was amended last year with some garden soil, like Miracle Grow. I put some compost and manure from the package, either from Lowe's or Home Depot, as well as some compost that we have made already, and some decomposed hay. I put that in there to loosen up the soil because our soil is more, it has a lot of clay in there. It's pretty decent soil, but it can get a little clumpy. So I did amend the soil. I put some blood meal, bone meal, and some other a general all-purpose fertilizer in there. And I did not really amend the soil this year for the sweet potatoes. Didn't amend the soil for the corn. I put a little bit of blood meal there, but I really didn't do anything else. I tried not to dig too much. I didn't want to disturb the microbiome of the soil. I wanted the soil to do its own thing. And just pretty much it's done healthy, and the corn has put in some nitrogen from last year from its roots. So I didn't do too much. I almost forgot. We got this volunteer borage right here, y'all. This borage in the asparagus patch has made its way. We put some borage here from the previous year over in this area. Actually, I think it was from 2022. We had borage in this area because I used this area where the sweet potatoes are for sweet peas. And we had borage growing right there. And the borage, if you let those things seed, they will seed everywhere. As you can see, we didn't plant borage here at all. It looks really beautiful though, and it tastes kind of like cucumbers. It's next to its friend right there, the asparagus. This borage, we may have to pull it up if it gets any larger. But we got volunteer borage, we got the volunteer corn, volunteer tomatoes, volunteer peanuts. Y'all, I forgot to show y'all the volunteer peanuts. How could I ever forget that? Volunteer peanuts. Look at that. Let me turn my camera around. Volunteer peanuts. There's another one somewhere. There's multiple. Volunteer peanuts. My mom transplanted them in these areas. Volunteer peanuts. Wow. Wow. It's exciting. We didn't plan to plant peanuts this year because last year we planted peanuts where the asparagus is, but since we have the asparagus and it's taking up a pretty large, considerable area, we didn't plant the peanuts this year. But we still got peanuts anyway. We still got the corn that was missing. We still have some sweet potatoes that were chopped down by my mom. She chopped those sweet potato slips down to the rind. I mean, though they're decomposed somewhere. But yeah, that's the garden tour. We got the corn, we got the sweet potatoes, we have the volunteer borage and the asparagus, and there's our mini garden tour. It may be a little longer than expected, but we're glad that you tuned in and be on the, here's my mom. Don't forget to plant to live, y'all. She could not wait. Okay. Plant to live, y'all, stay tuned, be on the lookout for more videos. We are going to have more mini garden tours, more videos in store, plant spotlights, quick facts, general longer videos of what we're doing in the garden, as well as some more medicinal types of videos where we're going on a journey of learning, preserving, canning, growing, serving, being more self-sufficient, growing our own medicine. We have medicinal herbs, y'all. Be on the lookout for that. We got a medicinal herb garden. So excited. That's one of the new additions that we have. And I, as a person that's really I'm looking to be in the medical field, and holistic medicine is something that I'm really interested and passionate about, and using what we have growing at our side. Everything that we need is right here, y'all. You can forage it, you can grow it from seed, you can propagate it. It's right there. And food is our medicine. And we're learning that right now. And we really hope that we can be beacons of inspiration for you all, as well as educators, friends, family, what have you. We really hope to inspire you all and teach you all, and that you all learn and grow with us. And of course, as my mom put it so eloquently, plant to live. See y'all next time.